Every stranger's face you have ever seen in a dream belonged to someone real, someone you actually walked past, a cashier you never looked at twice, a face in a crowd you don't remember seeing. Your brain did not invent a single one of them, because as far as neuroscience can tell, your brain has no equipment to invent a face at all. In 2018, a team at the University of York measured how many faces the average person can recognize. The answer was around 5,000. 5,000 stored identities, sitting in a region of your brain the size of a coin. And tonight, while you sleep, something is going to walk through that archive and start pulling faces out of it. What you are about to learn will make you look at the next stranger in your dream very differently. Think about the last dream you can actually remember. There were probably people in it. Not just people you know, strangers, a man behind a counter, a woman in a hallway, a crowd on a street. They had faces, specific faces. Eyes, a jawline, an expression aimed at you. And your sleeping mind accepted them completely the way you accept a stranger on a real street. You never once stopped and asked where that face came from, but it came from somewhere. It had to. Because faces are not simple shapes, and your brain does not treat them like shapes at all. There is a small patch of tissue on the underside of your brain called the fusiform face area. In 1997, Nancy Kanwisher and her colleagues at MIT identified it using functional MRI. They put people in a scanner and showed them objects, houses, hands, and faces. Almost everything produced scattered, unremarkable activity. Faces lit up that one specific region like a switch being thrown. This is not a general-purpose visual system. It is dedicated hardware. Your brain has a piece of machinery that exists almost entirely to process the human face, and it is so specialized that when it is damaged, people lose the ability to recognize their own mother while still being able to identify her voice, her walk, her perfume. The face becomes a blank. Everything else stays. So you have a region built to read faces. Here is the part that matters. Researchers have never found a second region built to generate them. There is no face factory. There is only the face reader, running in reverse. But what nobody expected was what that region does while you are unconscious. During REM sleep, your brain does not go quiet. It goes strange. In a series of PET imaging studies at the National Institutes of Health in the late 1990s, researchers watched what happens to the sleeping visual system. The primary visual cortex, the part that receives raw input from your eyes, goes dark. It has nothing to receive. But the higher visual regions, the ones that handle meaning and recognition, stay awake. They keep firing. Your face recognition hardware is switched on in the middle of the night with no eyes feeding it anything. So it does the only thing it can. It reaches inward and starts recognizing faces that are not there. That is what a dream face is, not a creation, a retrieval, and this explains something you may have noticed without ever putting words to it. Dream faces are unstable. Try to look directly at one, try to hold it. In lucid dreaming reports, this is one of the most consistently described experiences in the entire literature. The face shifts. It becomes someone else. The details slide because you are not looking at an image. You are looking at a memory being reassembled in real time, and memory is not a photograph. It is a reconstruction, and it degrades the moment you inspect it too closely. But what nobody expected was the evidence that came from people who have never seen anything at all. People born completely blind still dream. Their dreams are rich, emotional, detailed, full of people, but they contain no visual imagery whatsoever. None. Their dreams are built from sound, from touch, from spatial sensation, from smell. They dream in the material their brain has actually collected, and people who lose their sight later in life show something even more revealing. Their visual dreams do not disappear immediately. They fade. Slowly, over years, the images thin out, and eventually the dreams go quiet in the same way their waking vision did. The brain does not conjure. It plays back what it has. When the library empties, the dreams empty with it. But what nobody expected was how much bigger your library is than you think it is. Here is where this becomes uncomfortable. You do not choose what gets stored. Your face recognition system does not wait for your permission or your attention. It processes faces continuously, automatically, whether you are looking at them or not. Every commuter on your train, every person behind you in a queue, every face that passed through the edge of your vision on a street you were not paying attention to, you do not consciously register them. You could not describe a single one. but your brain filed them anyway. That is the archive, not the faces you remember, the faces you never noticed you saw. So when a stranger appears in your dream tonight and they feel completely unfamiliar, that feeling is accurate and also completely misleading. They are unfamiliar to you. They are not unfamiliar to your brain. Somewhere in the last 20 or 30 years, that face crossed in front of you. Maybe for 2 seconds. Maybe once on a platform in a city you have not been back to. You never spoke to them. You never looked at them properly. You will never know who they were. And your sleeping mind pulled them out of storage and gave them a role, and you accepted it without question. Which means the strangers in your dreams are the closest thing you have to a record of the people you have shared the world with and completely forgotten. Every unfamiliar face is a receipt, proof that you were somewhere, that someone else was there, and that a part of you kept it even though you did not. You are not being visited by people who do not exist. You are being shown, in fragments and out of order, the enormous crowd of real human beings you have walked past without ever once looking up. So here is what I want to know. Tell me about a face from a dream that you have never been able to shake. Someone you were certain you had never seen before, but who felt real in a way you could not explain. Because if any of this is right, you did see them. And I want to know how many of you have been carrying a stranger around without knowing it. If this changed how you think about the people in your dreams, you know what to do.